As Iran openly calls the Strait of Hormuz its atomic bomb and tightens its grip, is Trump now backed into a corner where every move risks detonating a geopolitical shockwave he can't fully control? When Tehran vows the strait will not return to its pre-war state and swears it will not step back an inch, is the world watching the permanent weaponization of one of its most vital energy choke points? With IRGC saying the room for U.S. decision-making has narrowed, does Trump now face an impossible choice between a war his own generals fear and a bad deal his base may never forgive? If Iranian lawmakers move to ban Israeli ships and restrict hostile U.S. transits, are we heading for a future where Hormuz is no longer a neutral artery but a gate Iran opens and shuts at will? As Trump reviews Iran's ceasefire plan while admitting he may not make a deal, is Washington really steering this crisis anymore, or just reacting to red lines Tehran now draws in the Gulf? Iran is hardening its stance over Hormuz, just as the IRGC publicly warned that Trump's choices have shrunk to either war or what they brand humiliating bad deal. Deputy Parliament Speaker Ali Niksad has warned that conditions in the Strait of Hormuz will not revert to their pre-war status, signaling that Tehran sees the current leverage as permanent. Speaking on May 2nd, Niksad described Hormuz as Iran's natural right, and even likened the waterway to the country's atomic bomb, a metaphor for the pressure it can exert on global energy flows. He vowed Iran will not step back from its position in the strait, praising residents of Hormuzgan province and the armed forces there for leaving the enemy helpless during the crisis. Niksad also revealed MPs are drafting a law that would permanently bar Israeli-flagged vessels and restrict passage for hostile states like the U.S., putting legal teeth behind Tehran's threat.
What is certain is that we will not step back from the Strait of Hormuz, and it will not return to its pre-war state, and the people of Hormuzgan province, along with the armed forces stationed there, have carried out a significant task. The enemy was left helpless, and although U.S. President Donald Trump declared he would reopen the strait that had been closed, he was unable to do so. He has now raised the issue of a blockade. Be certain that this too will fail. Under the law that will be adopted, vessels belonging to the Zionist regime will under no circumstances be allowed to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Hostile countries, headed by the United States, will also not have the right of passage. Other vessels wishing to transit will do so under the law we enact, and with authorization obtained from the Commander-in-Chief and placed at the disposal of our armed forces. We will provide services such as safety, environmental protection, and guidance for vessels, and we will charge them fees for these services. This is common practice worldwide, and the revenues will be used to strengthen our defensive capabilities, as well as to support people's livelihoods and complete and rebuild the country's infrastructure.
All this comes as Iran sends Washington a 14-point plan to end what it calls an illegal U.S.-Israeli war of aggression, trying to flip the narrative by posing as the side offering a political exit. Tehran's media argue the proposal puts the onus back on Washington, forcing Trump to either engage with the terms or explain why he is dragging the conflict out. The plan calls for lifting the U.S. naval blockade, ending the war on all fronts including Lebanon, and securing non-aggression guarantees and sanctions relief in a tight 30-day window. Trump has said he will soon be reviewing the plan Iran has just sent, yet on camera he sounds skeptical, warning it is hard to imagine the proposal being acceptable. He even admits he does not think he can make a deal, a rare confession from a self-styled dealmaker that hints the talks could stall just as pressure over Hormuz peaks.
Doing very well with regard to Iran. Again, they want to make a deal. They're decimated. They're having a hard time figuring out who their leader is. They don't know who their leader is because their leader is gone. Their former leader, Khomeini. But we'll see. Any questions real fast? They told me about the concept of the deal. They're going to give me the exact wording now, yeah.
Restart military strikes on targets.
Well, I don't want to say that. I mean, I can't tell that to a reporter. If they misbehave, if they do something bad, but right now, we'll see. But, you know, it's a possibility that could happen, certainly. Well, it's a very friendly blockade. Nobody's even challenging it. Nobody at all is challenging it. Just so you understand, many presidents have been involved in things that are very big. They never had to go through anything with respect to Congress. They considered it to be totally unconstitutional. And the Democrats in Congress that push this, and probably a couple of Republicans, they're hurting our negotiating ability, which is infinite right now. And they shouldn't be doing it. It's never happened before. No other president's done it. And I'm not going to be the first.
Why is the U.S. removing troops from Germany?
We're going to cut way down, and we're cutting a lot further than 5,000. Thank you very much.
Meanwhile, Iran's Revolutionary Guard's intelligence arm issues its own statement, warning that Trump now faces only two ugly options at the end of this standoff. The elite unit says the room for U.S. decision-making has narrowed, pointing to shifting tones from China, Russia, and Europe as proof Washington's pressure campaign is backfiring. It claims Tehran has secretly set a deadline for the U.S. to end its naval blockade of Iranian ports, without revealing dates but clearly hinting at consequences if it is crossed. The IRGC bluntly declared that Trump must choose between an impossible military operation or a bad deal with the Islamic Republic of Iran, framing both outcomes as a strategic defeat for Washington. IRGC added that their forces are on wartime standby and warned that renewed fighting is likely if the U.S. miscalculates, raising the stakes as both sides talk peace with one hand and prepare for war with the other.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that we will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry guards.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.